it and turn this over to Rosemary, who is a Unity minister, as all of you know, and she is working, I don't know if she would consider it in an alternative ministry of her own online work, but now she has found joy in being part of the Unity Center of Montreal. And Rosemary is also bilingual, which is a very interesting journey that comes together in that she is in Montreal, and which is an English and a French-speaking province. I just chuckle at the thought of what the future can bring for her in this bilingual work that we have. Committed to. We in Unity Center of Montreal, we really, really want to honor a bilingual path for us. So here we are. Here is Rosemary. We are all yours. We're all ears.
Okay. I assume that you guys are not planning to travel to Bethlehem anytime soon. Maybe that's a trip, you might do someday, right? I mean, that's what I've always thought. And as I haven't done this trip in the physical, my spouse has, but many years ago. And apparently right now, anybody who wants to visit Bethlehem, it's an interesting and not terribly friendly experience. There is a place in Bethlehem, a cave, which is designated as the birthplace of Jesus. But that was only decided like 400 years after Jesus was crucified. So it's not based on any real knowledge. They just needed a place and chose one, which they, have give tours to. It's very crowded. You have to go down this little bitty narrow stairway because everything that was at the time of Jesus has now been buried, at least a story below the surface of the earth. And I think most people are surprised to discover that there isn't any really good way to get there, because Jerusalem, where you go, is in Israel and Bethlehem is in Palestine. So you have to go through this unfriendly border, and it's a really kind of tiring and unpleasant experience. And then when you get there, it's really very, very touristy. So I'm not so sure I'm ever going to plan to take this particular trip in the physical dimension. But Bethlehem, in Charles Fillmore's writing, has a metaphysical meaning of the place of abundance. And Nazareth, which is where the Holy Family started out on this trip, is considered, its metaphysical meaning is the insignificant, everyday little details that bog you down. So they made this trip from everyday concerns of no real importance to their place of abundance, to the city of their tribal origin. They weren't the only ones on the road going there in the story, which we learned a couple of weeks ago with Reverend James Gaither almost certainly never actually happened. That to me was an opening. I didn't realize, but I've studied it since then, and indeed, the census, there's no record of this census in Roman occupation, of Palestine. There's no record of a astronomical event that would correspond to the star. And the villain of the story, Herod, died a couple of dozen years before it was supposed to take place. So there's no evidence that this story happened the way it was described in the Gospel of Luke. Now, I don't know about you, but every year when we do a candlelight service and we read the story and we sing the Christmas carols and we light candles, I always find that I am in a state of wonderful peace after reflecting on that story. Okay, so is this a placebo effect? What's going on here? And it's interesting because as a Unity minister for past dozen years or so, every year for the Christmas candle lighting service, I've been working on the narrative of the 12 powers to create it in a more spiritually oriented way, a higher vibration than the physical candles themselves. And so this version of the story, which I've been writing for the last month or so, feels like an evolution, a really positive evolution of the story becoming ours, of Bethlehem being our Bethlehem, of the 5-day journey, which can be any amount of time. We know that time doesn't exist in higher dimensions. The journey that we're on, the spiritual journey that we're on, the spiritual journey that Mary and Joseph took, that it's our journey, and that we have many companions on the way. So let's put ourselves into the story. Let's go within and just follow along as we consider our spiritual journey to our place of abundance, which is the metaphysical meaning of Bethlehem, and also the close to the linguistic meaning of Bethlehem. So the long trek of Mary and Joseph, like our spiritual journey, started with a remarkable angelic message that changed everything that they subsequently experienced. In the story, Mary and Joseph didn't resist. They instead surrendered their plans and said, yes, and then followed guidance specifically all the way along the path. There's something overwhelming about receiving guidance of this sort, and we do. We know it's important to surrender to the unknown, which is what we're being asked to do, with an unconditional yes. Usually we have finally learned this lesson after many challenges and struggles. And it finally dawns on us at a time when we feel as though we have nothing more to lose, that saying no again will only lead us back into discouragement. We intuitively know at that moment that we need to shift into a new way of being. Along the way to our inner Bethlehem, the place of our abundance, we humans can benefit enormously from the experiences that seem to knock us down and destroy our defenses. I invite you to go within and remember the first such experience in your personal history, a moment when your sense of purpose shifted you into saying yes, to being of service to others, to thinking beyond yourself. That moment of transforming awareness that translates into inner light is your send-off by an angel. So I invite you to just go within and think about your first angel visit, which you weren't expecting to be an angel visit. An important part of the metaphysical journey that you've undertaken is the way it invites you to activate the 12 spiritual powers that you possess as an expression of the universe. You first are able to surrender and say yes, because you have faith in the source energy that we share, each one of us shares with everybody, with every being. Faith in the light we see and begin to sense how the universe works. We become aware of our heart's deep desire. It's love for goodness, compassion, and peace. And most importantly, you understand that now, finally, in saying yes to this journey, you are on the path of evolution. You begin willingly to help energize divine order, perfect order of creation. On your journey, as Joseph and Mary did, you plod along the road, walking with the riding on the ass, alongside the many other members of your spiritual tribe and their accompanying companions, helpers, beasts. You're traveling together to recognize and claim the spiritual heritage into which you were born as humans. You share with your companions on the journey a destiny of helping to create a world filled with greater love. You rejoice in recognizing your identity, your roots, your skills, your traditions, your unique way of participating in mankind's evolutionary power. Each of us expresses that power uniquely. As you travel to higher vibrations, sharing the long journey with your companions, you grow in wisdom. You understand more and more deeply how it's not up to you alone to bring about changes in the world. The world will not fall apart if you stop for a moment. That's wisdom when we realize that. You become aware that all minds and all ideas, whoever holds them, can manifest powerful shifts in physical experience and spiritual vibrations. It doesn't matter if the ideas come from different traditions, from different religions, from people that look different, dress different, believe different from you, all ideas, all positive, loving ideas have the same spiritual power. You know with ever greater certainty that all souls need to envision peace together and to hold strong in the vision so that important changes can manifest in the lives of all, especially those whose needs appear to be the greatest. When this crowd arrives in Bethlehem, finally comes to the moment of birth, you understand that you'll be happier if you don't join in the drinking, sex, drugs, partying that are going on at the big inn. That's not really what you're after at this point, after this journey. Instead, you willingly say yes to staying overnight in a peaceful, warm cave filled with sweet, clean hay to cushion your rest. As you prepare for rest, suddenly the moment comes in which you are prompted to birth the new awareness that has been growing in you. It's a new integration. You are birthing a new integration of joy and love, a new manifestation of divine power that all earthly beings will share as we all express growing spiritual awareness. As the moment of birth for this new consciousness that you are bringing forth, other beings also become aware of the light you're sharing as they celebrate. Angels, guiding spirits, sing beautifully, radiating incredible light, announcing their joy and gratitude that you are helping to create a better universe. They are celebrating what you have agreed to bring forth, what you have surrendered to. Other humans are curious. They notice that, hey, what are they doing? This isn't what I expected. And they want to come and observe and see and also learn. When you are living the awareness that you have brought into being, other people are curious. They notice. They say, okay, how can you be so happy? Anybody ever asked you that as a Unity person? I read a story once about Charles Fillmore in a diner in Kansas City with a server. He said, that young woman is a Unity student because she is so joyful. And he and Myrtle asked the young woman, and indeed, she was a student of Unity. People notice the joy. People notice, gee, how are you doing? How are you doing that? So people come, they're curious. And people also come from further away. People that are really interested in the evolution of awareness. Writers who are writing a book about what you're teaching. They come and they say, hey, can I interview you? They, people come and they bring gifts. They enrich your life. They give you the gold of abundance. They give you the frankincense of transformation and the myrrh of inner peace. There's always an exchange in the spiritual dimension. That's the way life works at higher dimensions. And you wisely will know that everyone is celebrating not you as an individual, but the gift of universal power to which you have surrendered and said yes, and which you are sharing with them. As you imagine those you know and love benefiting from their own growing awareness of higher dimensional love and giving, you feel enthusiastic and strong as you see the work of sharing greater and greater love spreading as more people influence their friends and family positively in many places. There may come moments when your inner Herods, your selfish desires, rear up and distract you, but you have learned too from observing your traveling companions, from being with Joseph and Mary in spirit. You have learned how to stay focused on your mission. You hear the angel voice announcing to you, hey, watch out there. And you successfully turn your mind and heart away from the fears that may occur. You don't follow them. You know that you are being spiritually guided to remain in peace. You will easily find a detour into safety, the safe superconscious awareness that is symbolized by Egypt. Meanwhile, your journey continues to unfold in love, light, and evolving spiritual awareness. During your whole earthly life, you energize and demonstrate powerful love. And your graduation from embodiment back into the dimensions of spiritual consciousness brings you ongoing bliss and celebration. Bethlehem is an important stop along your path of spiritual growth. It is the place where your awareness is born into a higher dimension of consciousness. In response, you shift the purpose of your life journey as you prepare to grow in spiritual power and take advantage of the many possibilities open for your work. Because you have traveled to Bethlehem, you have become more spiritually aware, and your energy has strengthened, allowing you to expand the impact of your witness to universal love. Now, in meditation, I invite you to go within to your inner silence. Take 4 or 5 deepening breaths, allowing your body to relax completely. Focus your thoughts on the experience of breathing. You have been resting in the inner silence, in the cave with Joseph and Mary, when the moment for you to give birth to new awareness arrives. With the ox and the ass, and with Joseph and the innkeeper's wife, who is experienced at attending births and has come to help out, you share the wonder of witnessing the beginning of evolving spiritual awareness, of shifting from the physical dimension into the dimension of love. You feel deeply the miracle of this birth. You know deep down how momentous each person's evolving consciousness becomes over a lifetime. Your heart begins to sing with joy. Now, the birth, the safe and easy birth has ended, and you are again resting in peaceful joy when your neighbors appear, the shepherds, and they enter the cave with you with their story of bright light, singing angels, incredible celebration with you. You feel their wonder and join in their heartfelt congratulations to you in oneness with your traveling companions. As you too begin to rejoice with the shepherds and the angel voices, feeling enlightened in your new spiritual consciousness, I invite you to just spend a couple of moments feeling and appreciating this moment's impact on your life. Now, as we do each Sunday, I invite you to say aloud, softly, the names of people, places, and situations where light, joy, and peace are sorely needed. Envision the light we have been sharing, spreading out, enlarging, so that it includes and folds those who have been on your heart and mind. Feel the peace that comes from sharing love. Now, it is time to bring your awareness gently back into your body and into your space. As it feels comfortable, slowly become aware of your muscles and move them a little, all the way down to your toes. When the time is right, gently open your eyes and connect with the bright, shining companions with whom you have shared this inner journey to Bethlehem. Look around and smile at these special friends. We have shared a beautiful path, and we are deeply grateful together. And so it is.